All right, we're back, continuing work again today on the hideous Ninja Turtle. So, leaving off from the last video, obviously we're still very much in the mock-up stage. There's tons more of that to do before anything cool can happen to this thing. So, first things first, we're going to try and get the 0506 forks and front end onto this bike. Another thing we're going to get on there is the 0506 wheels, which is going to require a little bit of fabrication. And maybe a few other things in this video, I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how motivated I feel today. Just a little note, I didn't loosen this bolt. It came off that easy. So I saw a few people in the comments actually asking me about this bike, and this bike's actually one of my old stunt bikes. This thing, I don't know, I used it a couple years ago, and I just broke it way too many times, and it got broken too far past the point of being worth fixing, basically. So this thing just turned into a pile of shit, scrap heap in the corner, and thankfully I kept it around because now it's definitely gonna serve a big purpose in building that bike. The reason I'm swapping front ends is because the 0304 front end had a real bad problem with snapping in half actually during stoppies and even some wheelies, because obviously stunt riding is really hard on a front end, especially smashing up and down all the time. And they had a problem with the fork lowers and axle carriers actually like breaking loose and eventually ovaling out, and after they oval out and get sloppy, one good impact and they snap right off. So I don't really feel like having that happen to me today, so we got one of these kicking around. Obviously it's a good idea to put it on there. Plus this one's got fancy brakes, and I was going to put those 6 wheels on anyways, which would have required some dicking around to get them on the 03 forks. And since we're doing a straight up swap, that's half the battle already taken care of, so let's get this thing on. Time to come off of there, little buddies. Fuck you. Front end swap done. The 0506 wheels don't just bolt straight onto this bike, unfortunately. They have a much shallower hub on the brake side of the wheel, and that requires a bigger spacer. And there are, of course, companies that sell a spacer kit to fill that gap, but I've got a lathe and some material, so we're just gonna make one. So I got my dual caliper bracket in there, got a rough measurement of the gap I need to fill, which is between 16 and 17 millimeters, so we're gonna go a touch bigger and just take off a little C hair at a time until she fits. Shut up! And a quick safety notice. If you have power tools that spin and you have a hoodie on, get rid of that shit. Some of you might have been smart enough to realize by now that with the shallower hub, I'm going to have to shim the brake caliper in to line up to the rotor, and obviously right. The people that are doing this with stock brakes are just usually doubling up on this caliper mount right here and getting away with it that way. But since I'm running this dual caliper mount, I'm gonna have to make shims to get this thing to line up properly. So I'm not gonna do that on camera because that's gonna be super time consuming, especially when I'm filming and changing the camera angles and all that stuff. So have a look at it. This is what it's gonna look like. You'll see it when it's done. So here's our completed wheel and fork swap so far. Oh, hang on a second. That's better. I think that's a good spot to leave off. I'm tired and I need to get some food in my tum-tum. And let me re-emphasize one more time that this is the mock-up stage before you keyboard experts start shitting your pants over there. Obviously we gotta get everything to fit right before anything crucial happens to this bike, so that's kind of the stage we're at. And then it's getting torn down completely nut and bolt, and when it gets put back together, all the stuff's gonna be replaced with fresh bearings and grease and all that stuff to make sure it's fucking nice and tight again. Well, you're probably gonna be bored after this video's over, so make sure you pop over to LeeStewart38.com and check that out. Check out my Patreon page and like, comment, subscribe, all that shit, and we'll see you again in the next one.